guys, and welcome to episode 10 of the Chicken Pod Podcast. My name is Michael Smith.
My name's Devilman Crybaby.
And welcome back to the Chicken Pod Podcast. So, the last time we left off, we had 5 new anime on our list, and now we only have 4. So now, we are going to be discussing the last 2 episodes for each anime on our list. But anyway, why don't you start us off, Tavon, with your first anime?
So his first anime is Conceptions, and where I said in the last podcast, I had said that they had to participate in this sex ceremony. That's pretty much what the anime was about. Mm-hmm. So going on from here forward, pretty much where they left off was in episode 1. They were saying it wasn't an actual ceremony. They just had to make like a kiss or something like that, and then the child would be born out of thin air. So pretty much after that happened, they pretty much had left, and then that was when the main character, he was outside walking, and this girl, she was currently like rehearsing this on purpose. Mm-hmm. So she pretty much came from around the corner with this bread in her mouth, and then she just bumped into the main character like, oops, sorry. You know that little cliche thing animes always do? That was pretty much what she did, and then she just ran off. So I was like, yeah, I could tell this was rehearsed.
Yeah.
And then that was when he ran into he was told to go to the class to meet all the maidens he had to perform the ceremony with, and that was when he ran into her again, like it was meant to happen. Mm-hmm. And then after they had did the whole introduction thing, that was when he had left again, and he had went to the cherry blossoms. Like it was pretty much all set up by this little furry like creature, you know, like those little cats you see in a Monster Hunter World, that little cat thing.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much the thing that's following him around. He's pretty much like setting this whole thing up. He's like, yeah, all right, going to the cherry blossoms. Yeah. All right, meet up here, and this is your chance. And he was pretty much like making small talk with her, talking about how she's looking out for like these orphan kids or whatever. Pretty much that. And then he was pretty much trying to get them to the bond, but it wasn't really working out right then and there. So then that was when he decided to go fight the monster, because he had to give birth to these childs in order to fight these monsters, and they had to help him defeat them. So he just went for a little test run, and they all lost. Like, all the kids pretty much died, or not died, but they all fainted or whatever.
I was gonna say, I think died.
And I was. So that was when he said he pretty much had to get more kids in order for this to work. So that was when we just pretty much just skip ahead to episode 2, where he was at this hot springs with his childhood friend, and she was like pretty much asking him questions like, do you remember this from our childhood? And he doesn't remember, and she got all sad and whatnot. So then it was pretty much just them two in a hot spring, and then supposedly she passed out underwater because it was like too hot or something like that. So he took her out, and then that was when she was looking for this little charm he gave her as a kid. It was something like that, and she couldn't find it, so he helped look for it or whatever. And then that was when she was pretty much happy and whatnot, and then she walked away. And after that was when the main character, he had went to this bar. I don't know why he went to the bar, but he just went. Can you still hear me? Yeah. He went to the bar to see one of the maidens. And then that was when he pretty much found out that this maiden was supposedly like a dancer or whatever. And then that was when he pretty much like just took the approach to her and just like trying to talk to her and get to know her. And that was when he pretty much he was looking at this guy, like this dating guy that furry thing gave her from this book. Mm-hmm. And then he said like this cheesy line that said, I'll make you feel things you've never felt before. And then that was when she got all excited, like, he's so hot.
Huh? What?
And after that, they participated in the ceremony. Yeah, that's it.
That was where it ended?
Yeah.
Oh, So, all right. So, because I remember you talking about this in the last podcast, and like the entire time I was confused, and I was legit like, what the hell is this anime? But like, from like what you told me now, I felt like, how do you personally feel like, from after seeing the first episode, how you feel about the last 2 episodes story-wise, from the progression of what's going on now with the characters, whether it be like the main character and like the whole like romance rehearse stuff and whatnot?
See, I'm already not feeling this anime. I mean, I just felt hearing myself talk on the podcast. I'm like, how am I going to get the audience invested?
Yeah.
Let me see what else is on YouTube. We probably lost half our audience already.
I just imagine it was like, look, I was gonna talk about this anime called Conceptions, but instead I'm just playing you this video of Attack on Titan episode 1. Yeah, this was great, man. It's like, this is something different. I was like, huh? All right. Okay. So you just like completely non-invested or disinterested. Was there anything interesting that you were somewhat feeling in the show?
I mean, I'm really just not feeling it. It just feels so bland and cheesy, especially when he gave him this book to say these lines to this girl, and this whole setup thing with the girl bumping into him on accident. That was a setup. I'm just like, nah. Aggression's not going anywhere.
All right, how about the soundtrack? Was that just as bland as the story itself, where you're just like, oh, you know what? That actually was kind of like, I'm actually kind of feeling it. Like, how was it?
That's pretty bland, too.
Okay. What about the animation?
It's all right. I mean, I'll say that much. It's all right. But anime itself.
See, at least that has something to go for it. Yeah, the animation. All right. Okay. So, no, from what you said so far, I feel like I already kind of have an idea of where you're going with this. But from all in all, where would you probably rate the anime so far from like the episodes you've seen?
4, 3, somewhere around there.
4, 3. Okay. So I would say like 3.5 out of 10 or something like that. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's about right. Shoot, I already got anything else to talk about. You didn't discuss how lackluster this anime was. And it felt that way from the way he was bringing it up. I was just like, wow, he doesn't care at all about this anime. But okay.
I tried to find some good key points to talk about, but there was nothing but love going.
Yeah, to be fair, if it's bland, it's bland. So I got you. It wasn't like you were like talking about like, it's not like you were talking about like a good show and you were just like, yeah, this guy's no lion and he was playing shogi and then he went to these sisters' houses. Yeah, I think they were sisters. It wasn't like that. It was more like a boring set. It was just like more like it was just a bland story in a bland setting that just came off as cheesy, and that's why it kind of came off that way. And it makes sense that it was hard for you to talk about something like that. So yeah, I definitely get it, because it probably would have been hard for me as well. All right. Well, I guess I'll go with my next anime then, and hopefully I at least like, yeah, this definitely wasn't boring. I'll definitely say that much. All right, okay, so we get to my first anime that I saw, and we are going back to Banana Fish. Now, in the last podcast when I brought up Banana Fish, I brought up the fact that it was like this these gang members. It was basically this whole gang war with this one group and like this other group that's a part of the mafia and whatnot, like this mafia boss and his group and whatnot. And we have the main character Ash, who was the leader of this new gang, and the mafia dude used to be his mentor and whatnot. And the one thing I brought up from the last podcast was the fact that I didn't know where it was going to go with this show, considering the fact that I realized that there are no women in this podcast, not podcast, there was no women in this anime whatsoever. Yeah, there are no women in this podcast. But anyway, yeah, just the fact there was no woman in the anime and whatnot. And I had a feeling it was going to go like a certain route that I felt it was going to go with like the main character and this other dude that I thought was going to be his rival. And on top of the fact that there were already certain characters that kind of were like gay and whatnot. So anyway, we get to these two episodes and we see Ash confronting these. And last time we left off from the last episode of episode 1 is we have Ash trying to save Ijori after the mafia dude. Yeah, after the Don, yeah, that was his name. After the Don gets his men to kidnap him and whatnot, and then they drive off. So they're driving off, and Ash grabs his motorcycle, and he's driving off to give him as well. And on top of that, it's not only Ijori that got kidnapped. It was also Ijori and also his black friend. Like he also has his little black kid friend and whatnot. I forgot his name, but he's like this little black friend he has. This little black kid that he's like really friends with. Yeah, Demetrius. Yeah, DeMarco. Anyway. But basically like him, basically like, he like drives there and he's like looking for him and whatnot, and then like he goes to this little not, I say this little shack. It was like this little like abandoned shack area, and it's like dark and he's wondering like where'd the car go and whatnot. And then out of the shadows he sees his right hand man Arthur comes in. You know, the one I said kind of looks like a mixture between like a fusion between like Loxus from Fairy Tail and the dude from K-Pride, the one with the red hair and whatnot, kind of like that. He like comes in and he's just like, Ash is like, what the hell are you doing, Ash? Like, the hell are you doing, Arthur? And he's just like, and Arthur's just like, oh, I've been waiting on this for a while. I've been waiting to get you alone by myself for a while after what you did to me. And he was like, Ash is just like, oh, don't you do this. Don't you do this right now. And apparently Arthur was the one that set up this kidnapping. And he's working with Don. He's working with the mafia dude. Like, and like right off the bat, it's just like, he already, like, this is like the fastest betrayal I've ever seen in an anime. I was like, we're like episode 2. And he already,
that caught me off guard. At first I thought you were about to...
I'll say what? Oh, no, you can
I was going to say, at first I thought you were about to say something else like, I got you alone. No. What do you think you about to do? Why you been alone?
That would have caught me off guard even way worse. I was like, no, this wasn't the direction I thought it was going. But I will say this is the one thing I did like, because this is the one thing I did like about like the 2 episodes I saw, because like when Arthur came in and he apparently the reason why he did this and the reason why he like betrayed Ash, and like Ash kind of had a feeling that like he would do something like this, is because like in the past Arthur, like Ash did something to Arthur that he like now has like this grudge on Arthur. We don't get to know like what Ash did to him that like, gave him this grudge and whatnot. But like ever since he always had like a grudge against Ash, and like that's when like he like starts like. That's when he starts to like fight Ash and whatnot. And then like while he's fighting, this is actually just really, really good ass fight between like Ash and Arthur and whatnot. And then during the fight, he just like Arthur just like she's like boom, like he like shoots him in the leg. I was just like, what? This ain't fair. And then like while Ash's leg is like bleeding and whatnot, then like the rest of the people that were in the car, they come back still holding Ijori and the black kid, and now they've kidnapped Ash and whatnot. So now Ash, Ijori, and the black kid are now in this like they're like tied up in this like little like abandoned shack area where Arthur was at. And basically we got the rest of the crew now comes in. The rest of the Don's crew, not Ash's crew. The rest of Don's crew comes up, and they're like, oh. And like this like one like big dude comes up, and he's like, oh, long time no see, Ash. And then like it's like the Don's like right hand man or whatnot. And then Ash sees him, and he's just like, no, not you. And then like the dude says like, oh, I've been wanting to see you again. And then he starts doing his belt. I'm like, no. Like, oh, see, and then like, I know. See, thank goodness Ash stopped it, because right as he starts to do his belt, he like it's like Ash's eyes turn red. He's like, no. And then like while he's tied up, he's just like kicks him down, and he's like pulls some like Cowboy Bebop moves, just like kicks his head off. He doesn't kick his head off clean, but when I say kicks his head off, he like knocks him out with his legs and whatnot. And then he like unties himself using this like this broken shard, and then like he like unties the black kid, and then like unties Ijori, and then they're not like running out and whatnot. But that scared me for a second when I saw it unties. I was like, oh, it's been a while. Ash is like, no. So pretty much like now Ash, Ijori, and now the black kid are escaping or whatnot, and right as they're about to escape and whatnot, like the other the Don's crew or whatnot, they're like busy doing something else, like working on his other project or whatnot. And as they're like escaping to his other area, they see this wall, and they're wondering like, how do we get past this wall? And that's when Ijori says like, oh, I'm actually a tightrope champion or whatnot. You know, like those things where you have like, you know, those like little sports competitions where like they have that giant ass pole, and then they're running holding that pole, and they stick it up in the air, and then they jump all the way up in the air, and then like jump over. You know that thing I'm talking about? Okay. Because like that's basically what Ijori did. Ijori just like found this like a pole like out of nowhere. He's just like, don't worry, I might can go over that wall and then get some help. I might can call in the rest of the crew later and whatnot. And then like Ijori's just like, how do you know you can trust me and whatnot? And then like Ijori's like looking at, she's like, oh no, I think you're a nice guy, because Ijori was that cop guy who I thought was going to be like the rival to Ash and whatnot, but now they're like chilling like they're friends and whatnot. But they're not going like, so far it doesn't seem like they're going the route that I think they're going right now. They just look like more like buddy and whatnot, where like Ash just like, how do you know you can trust me and whatnot? I could easily be just as bad as the mafia people. And then he's just like, nah, I don't think you're a bad guy and whatnot. And then that's when Ijori like jumps up on the tightrope and then like goes over the wall, and then like he's like running to get the rest of Ash's crew and whatnot. And during that time, Ash is like, now like Arthur and the rest of the group, the rest of the mafia group now see Ash and whatnot, and now like Ash and like the black kid are like fighting off these guys and whatnot, and as they're fighting them off, the rest of Ash's crew comes in, then they finally come in, and then the police officers come in as well because they find out Ijori got kidnapped and whatnot. So now we got Ash's gang members and then the police all coming for this headquarters trying to stop like whatever Arthur and like the rest of the mafia people are doing and whatnot. And during this time, that big dude, the one who almost like took off his belt, not know what he was about to do to Ash and whatnot, he's about to drive off and escape and whatnot. And before he drives off and escape, the black kid comes out of nowhere. He's like tries to stop him from getting inside of his car, and he's like, "What? Get off me!" Boom! And then he like shoots the black kid and kills the black kid. And like the black kid was like it's like a really good friend of Ash and whatnot. And he was like, at that point when he saw like his like black friend like just like die right there, he was pissed right there. And at that point, they was like, "Oh, he escaped. Oh, don't worry. We'll catch him." And the cops said, like, "Don't worry, we'll catch him. That's fine. All of you just go home." But at that point, after seeing like his black kid just get killed like that, he's just like, "Nah." And then like he just grabs him, like vroom, 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 and he's like starts like booking it towards that big dude that killed his black friend and whatnot. And now the big dudes, he's like driving, and then like he like stops at this like little motel area, and as he's like going up to that motel area, Ash is just like looking for him and whatnot, and he's like, where are you?" And then he opens the door, and the fat dude, he killed himself. And then like he was like, "Huh?" And then like he just sees him like down on the ground. He sees like the bullet in his head and whatnot. And then the cops come, and they say, "What's going on here?" And then you just see Ash holding a gun, and they see the dude on the floor, and they're just like, "What? You're under arrest." "No, I didn't do it." And obviously they thought it was him. So they arrest him, and that's when we get to the next episode where he's in a police station, and this is where we get the biggest reveal, which was just, when I found this out, this was just like jaw dropping. I just didn't expect this to happen. Okay, so we get to the police station, and we get to the interrogation and whatnot, and we get Ash and we have Ijori playing good cop, and this other dude also like there as well, who's like Ijori's friend and whatnot. But then this other dude came out who, like, the moment I saw him, I'm like, "Oh, this dude's definitely gonna be a main antagonist." It was this dude named Isaiah, and he came in and he was like, "Isaiah, what are you doing back at the police station?" And he was like, "Oh, they moved me back over here." And they was like, "Oh, no, they brought you back?" He was like, "Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. I won't be as bad as I was before. All right, let's get this interrogation going." And then like he like saw Ash, and he was like, Ash, I remember you, Ash." Basically, Isaiah's like, he's like talking about he's like talking about, "Oh yeah, I know your history with the Don and whatnot, because you used to be his mentor and whatnot." And then he's just like, "What do you know about Don? You don't know anything about me and whatnot." "Oh, I know more about you. You had all the reason to like to kill that big dude, because you actually had some history with that big dude, remember?" And then like he like had this videotape, and then like he just said, "What the hell's that videotape?" And then he puts in the videotape, and then like all you see is and it's like the dude, like, it shows like Ash as in the past as a child. Like, you don't see it completely because it's like somewhat censored, but pretty much like you see literally the big dude's literally banging Ash as a kid, and then like he just literally just like I was like, oh, then like it's like, turn off the video. It's like literally. So basically during that entire time he was with the Dawn, apparently Ash was like basically used as a sex slave as a kid, where he was basically like raped by like all of like the Dawn's like crew and whatnot back in the day, and then like that really like triggered him and whatnot. And then like at that point he was just like, "Oh yeah, it was because," and then like at that point like Ash is like completely quiet and whatnot. Then like Isaiah is just like, "Oh yeah, so tell me you had no reason to kill him. Don't worry, let me hear it." Just nothing from Ash at that point. After seeing that and whatnot, and then like he was like, "I rest my case," and then he just gets arrested after that. Well, first he goes to the hospital because he's like wounded after like the fight and whatnot. But then after like he's like gets healed, then they're gonna they're gonna take him to prison and whatnot. And during that time, we have Ijori coming in, and then like Ijori comes in. He's wondering like, is he like all right and whatnot? And then he's just like, you don't need to. He's like Ash like talking to Ijori and whatnot. He's just like, "You just need to stay away from me. You just need to stay away from me. You don't want to be a part of this. This is getting dangerous. I'm a criminal." And like Ijori's just like, "Don't worry, I'm here for you." And like puts his hand on his hand. And like, "You're not like the rest." I'm like, okay. They went the exact way I was thinking about. about where I was going with this. At first, like it wasn't like I didn't think it was gonna feel that way, but it was like you're not like the other ones. I'm like, oh, like, and then like you see like someone with a blustery turn, it's like, I was done. I was just like, nah. The moment I saw that, I'm just like, this did not go the exact way I thought it was gonna go. I was like, I thought they were gonna be rivals, but instead I was like, all right, it went from rival to romance. All right. So then we get, and this is like the last part anyway. So then we get the Don talking about like, oh yeah, Ash is going to prison and whatnot. Oh, don't worry. I'll make sure. And like he like made a phone call to prison. Like the Don made a phone call to prison. He'd like, make sure you guys deal with Ash and whatnot. And then like it was like the Don not only has connections to like a bunch of people, he also has connections in prison and whatnot. He has connections to like a bunch of prisoners and whatnot. And they're like, make sure you give him a warm welcome. Make sure you give Ash a warm welcome. And then like there's like, ooh, Ash, I haven't seen him in a while. Ooh. And then like it shows like Ash going into the prison, and then like as he walking in the prison, you're just like, "Ooh, we got new booty, everyone, new booty!" Like, I was like, and then we get to like Ash like in like the prison scene and whatnot. And then like we get like this other dude, like he's like his like roommate and whatnot, and they just like, don't worry, don't worry about them and whatnot. My name's Sean. Don't worry, I'm a friend of Jory. I can break you out. And that's like where it ends right there and whatnot. So, so you have any questions?
You think you're gonna keep going with this anime after all that?
See, the moment I already got caught off guard, well, with a belt, the moment I saw a dude take off his belt, he's like, ooh, Ash, I haven't seen you. I already got caught off guard. But the moment, it was probably like the moment when I saw like Ash's backstory, even like the fact like I to be fair, that really didn't bother me as much, but like that did catch me off guard when I found out like he was like raped by like a bunch of his like a bunch of like the Don's men back in the day as a child or whatnot. I can see like that didn't ruin it for me. It was probably like the Jory like Ash thing that like ruined it for me, because like at least like you can see like Ash's motivation, why he's like twisted in the way he is right now, because he'd been through some horrible shit back in the day. But for that Ijori and Ash thing, and then like, oh, new booty, everyone, new booty. I'm like, this Boondocks got the Booty Warriors 2.0. Like, it's just like, nah, the best thing in life is gotta be booty. Y'all better listen to. But right now, nah, I don't think. It's gonna be hard considering like all the other anime on this, but right now, just nah. I'm just not feeling it right now. But any other questions?
You think this anime had potential if it didn't go that route? Because I was expecting them to do something with the whole thing about how you said he was like raped as a kid. I thought he was gonna like go completely like full on. See, I was actually expecting him to turn into like Hollow Ichigo.
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of like this crazed guy.
See,
I thought he was gonna turn into like him at that moment. That would have saved the show.
See, I felt like it was somewhat going to that, because I remember like when it showed like that. When it showed that fat dude, when like he like started taking off his belt, and he was like, I was waiting for this, and then like the moment he saw him like try to take off his pants, he like got triggered, and his eyes turned red, and that's when he like beat the mess out of him, even though he was handcuffed, and that's when he untied himself, and that's when like, because like he went berserk, because like when that moment happened, he did get triggered, and I'm like, oh shit, and like he like went crazy and stuff like that, but then like that whole romance stuff happened, that's when like it just like I just wasn't feeling it anymore, and plus like I saw the next 2 episodes and there was still no female, so I'm just like, yeah, this is definitely going that route. I see. I got nothing against the romance itself. I just feel like it just doesn't work for the setting and what's going on and whatnot. Especially like if I don't know. See, I'm not gonna like say like if I was in that situation, I would probably see things differently. But I'm just saying like if I was raped by a bunch of men as a child, I couldn't even see myself even thinking about like ever romancing a guy at that point anyway. So I'm just like, I feel like at that point I would be like, if anything, I would probably be more of the opposite route. I'd be like, oh yeah, I love women. I'm just gonna be on like the woman's side completely. I'd be like, I would want enough of a female surrounding me at that point. I was like, oh yeah, nah, yeah, man, I love women. Like it would just be like something different. But then like I just feel like that one just like kind of caught me off guard and just like kind of didn't work, because everything that happened with like Arthur with Arthur and Ash was pretty good. Like I like even like the betrayal, I felt like was kind of quick. It made sense because he had some sort of grudge about. See, that's the one thing I'm just curious about. I'm just like, why did this have to happen before I found out what the grudge Arthur had against Ash was? Because that was the only thing that was good about it. Just like Ash and Arthur were the only good parts about this show. And then like after that happened, it was just, but anything else?
Downloaded the soundtrack.
That's what I said.
Maybe it had a good theme, you know. Oh man, that rape thing was good.
But I think see for that show, I feel like some of the soundtracks it worked for the setting, but I wouldn't say there was anything that was like that made me want to download it to my phone. It probably all
they didn't have to got you no line thing.
Like, nah, not anything like that. Nah, it's not really anything. But it like worked for the show, but it wasn't anything like I could like remember that I was just like, oh yeah, let me make sure to download that, like just anything like that. So yeah, nah. And all in all, I'd probably give it like, since I forgot about the rating, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10, probably like right there for now, because it did have potential, but then like it just kind of got off balance, and right now I'm just like not feeling it for the time being. But yeah, you can go to your next anime now.
So this next anime is Megalo Box, and where we left off last time. So this should have been the first anime I started out with. Considering the other one, I was just like, yeah, he went to the store and then, is this what YouTube? All right. But anyway, so this was the anime, Megalo Box. And where we left off last time was the main character. He looked like Spike Spiegel, so I'm just calling him Spike. He was in the middle of the street and he was fighting that guy with the hood on and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But instead, he walked away. And then he showed up in the hood the next day in that ring. And that was when him and Spike was about to go at it, because it turns out he was like some champion, wide-known boxer all around the world. So he decided to show up in that underground boxing arena for some odd reason. No reasons were unknown, but he just showed up out of the blue. And then that was when Spike's not mascot, Spike's manager, he was trying to tell him to get out of to pretty much just throw the fight like always. Yeah. It's not worth it, man. Just throw the fight. And then he was like, nah, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. I want to believe that he wants to believe in himself. I'm trying to word it right where it doesn't sound.
I was like, the reason why I'm laughing is because you literally said like, I want to believe that. That's legit like the way it sounds. But anyway, you can go back to it. I don't
want to use the word believe, but he wants to feel convinced in himself that he's a good fighter. So he's doing it for him, really. So that was when he decided to say, nah, I'm going all the way with this. He took out that earpiece out of his ear. And then that was when it was him versus the guy in the hood. His name was not yet known yet. Okay. So that was when they were in a boxing arena. And they were throwing a few punches at first. And then that was when the other guy, he was like, you know what? I'm going to just use one hand for a good while. And then that was when he was pretty much just fighting him with just one hand, because he was like holding back and whatnot. And then he was holding his own for a while, and he knocked Spike on the ground, and then he got back up. And then the manager was telling him, why don't you just quit now? Quit now when I'm having this much fun. And then he put that mouthpiece back in. And that was when he went for the charge against the other guy with the hood on. And then that was when the other guy decided to use his arm, his right arm this time. Because you remember how I told you he was supposed to use one arm?
Oh, yeah.
Well, this time he had to use two. So then he was like, see, you didn't use that second arm. It'd be sleepy time for you. And then that was when he said, why don't we just stop this showboating and just take this seriously for once? And he was like, all right, fine, that's what you want. So then that was when him and the other guy, they were like boxing for like a good minute. And then they were like going at it blow for blow. And then after that, that was when the guy with the hood, he knocked out the main character, Spike, and he knocked him on the ground. And after that, he just took off his gloves and he just decided to walk out the arena. And the ref was like, what are you doing? The match isn't over. He won't be getting up from that punch. And then he just continues to walk outside the arena. And that was when they were counting down Spike. It's like 5, 6, 7. And then he said 10. And then Spike was out. It's like, no, you lost? No, you put out this route. And then what caught me off guard was, as the guy in the hood, he was walking out the door. That was when Spike got up. And he had like this look in his eye as he was leaning on the rope. He was like, so that's it? That's your Megalo Box? You couldn't even take out a stray dog like me? And then he told him, why don't you get in the ring and finish this? We're not done here. I'm not finished with you yet. And that was when the guy in the hood, he turned around and looked at him. He was like, nah, I don't have anything to prove here. This is your ring. But the next time you meet me, you're coming to my ring. And I was like, oh. So the next thing you know, the manager, he had gotten this tap on the shoulder for some odd reason. And he was like, what do you want with me? I'm busy right here. And it was like, oh. So he turned around, and it was like the manager of the whole underground casino. The reason why they tapped on his shoulder was because he was pretty much paid to throw fights. And since he didn't throw that fight, oh wait, no, wait, my bad, that's too soon. All right, so just ignore that part. That didn't happen. Okay. So the next night, let me do that right. The next night, that was when Spike, the guy who lost. So he showed up, and he went to talk to his manager, and that was when he gave him this flyer and told him that he wanted to participate in this Megalo boxing stadium so he could fight that guy again with the hood. So that was when the manager looked at him. He told him that the guy almost made like mincemeat out of you, something like that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, guys like you and me don't get to think about tomorrow. You start thinking about stuff like that, and you end up a dead man. Just give up this whole idea of the Megalo boxing thing. This is what we're good for. We're faking fights and we make money. I'll be out of debt in no time. So then that was when Spike, he got in the ring, and they were pretty much getting ready for his next fight. And the manager, he noticed he didn't have that earpiece in his ear. Because you know how every time he's supposed to get paid to fake a fight, and normally he has an earpiece to tell him what to do. So he didn't have the earpiece in his ear. So that was when he took it out he was like, where's the earpiece? The kid's like listening to my directions. And the next thing you know, he walks up to to his fighter guy. And the first thing the guy says, he noticed that Spike's walking up to him. He's like, who are you? What do you want? Next thing you know, he was already out by one hit.
Oh, dang.
I was laughing at that. He was like, what do you want? After that, he was already murked. And then that was when he got tapped. That's when he got this tap on his shoulder. The manager got this tap on his shoulder, and he turned around, and they told him to go to the back. So pretty much the manager went to the back, and all he hear in the background is, and you hear like somebody getting like roughed up and like beat up in the background.
Okay.
And it was making him nervous. He was like, no, please.
My leg.
And then that's when he sees the guy. He's like, please look, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to control the kid. I just didn't know what to do. It's okay. Just have a drink. And everything's going to be fine. Oop, oop, oop. So he drank the drink. Hey, you feeling better? Please, wait, I'm sorry. I just didn't know what to do. And he was like, it's okay. It's all fine. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to give me that other eye of yours. Because pretty much he already had one eye that was missing. Because he already went like an eye patch.
Yeah.
So he told him, you're going to give me that eye of yours. And then after that, that was when he decided to, he said, nah, we're not going this route. And then he pretty much made a new deal. And he told him, we're going to go to Megalo Boxing, that thing that Spike introduced him to.
Yeah.
He said he decided he was going to do that. And then that was pretty much where the episode ended right there.
Okay.
And then pretty much the next episode I'm trying to skim through because I don't have much time. But pretty much the next episode, he forged his name. Because he wasn't a citizen for whatever reason, because you got to be a citizen to participate in the competition. Mm-hmm. And he changed his name to Joe. That was his hidden name. Oh. Pretty much nothing important happens in this episode, so I'm going to try to skip around briefly as much as I can. Pretty much, they had these kids who stole this camera, and they went to the shop, and he gave him all these cameras just for like some candy that makes them all drunk. That's what happened. And the reason why they were at that shop was because they were trying to buy some Megalo gear. Because remember how I told you that guy named Spike, they all have to wear a certain kind of gear when they're in the ring?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much after that was when they pretty much left the shop, and they were like pretty much like training and whatnot in the ring and whatnot. And then pretty much they were like practicing in the ring and whatnot, and the kid was like looking at him, telling him he was trying to do some research on the boxer, and he's like the lowest rank. He was like, him a good boxer? Yeah, right. I have to believe it to see it and whatnot. And that was when pretty much the kid, he was trying to steal the real gear that he needed, like the best gear for him to wear. Mm-hmm. And Spike, he came back to check on the manager, and the current gear they bought was on fire. He was like, what did you do? What do we do? We're screwed for the competition tomorrow. Because the gear was on fire. So that was when he pretty much, these kids told him to come back to the shop because the kid pretty much tried to steal the gear for him. for that's the guy named Spike, well, the guy named Joe now.
Oh.
And that was when he pretty much went back to the shop. And like this fat dude was trying to pretty much choking a little kid.
Mm.
And then that was when the main character came in. He like hit him with his motorcycle because he came in and burst through the window with his motorcycle. And they had like this quick one-on-one fight. And then his gear was malfunctioning throughout the fight because it pretty much like he got like stunned for a minute. And that was when he pretty much just took off his gear and fought the big guy one-on-one. And then and this was pretty much, I don't want to say it got cringy, but
What happened?
the kid pretty much trying to tell him directions on what to do. And he said, you know, all right, I'll listen to the kid this time around. And then he won the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then he decided to take the kid with him in his truck to go to Megalo Boxing. So, and that's pretty much where it ended.
Yeah, kid.
See,
that's where you could be next time. I want to grow up and be just like you.
See, the only problem I have with this is I like the whole loner wolf route instead, because I like it when it was just him and the manager. But then when they brought those little like 3 kids in, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe if it was another main character, but for this main character, I don't see it.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you say? Okay. So you say you like you just don't you prefer more in the lone wolf route. But what do you say from the progression of the show so far, and like the fight so far? I would say you're feeling it so far.
I mean, I like the fights are pretty solid and whatnot. No. Okay. And they played maybe like 2 good soundtracks, just 2, but the rest was just nah.
Okay. So how would you say the animation was with like the fights and whatnot?
I say the animations were pretty solid. They were spot on. I actually feel the animation.
Okay. All right. So far from everything you've seen so far, what would you probably give the show?
See, from episode 1, I give it like a high 8 or a 9. Actually, it was almost a 10. It was like a high 9.
Oh, really?
When he said, "Is that your Megalo Box? Get back in here and finish this. It's over.
Lee, get back here and finish this."
But episode 2, I give it a 7 for now, because I'm really not feeling the little kids. I'm really not. They're kind of like those annoying brats. Maybe they would have at least made them like, I don't know, Clementine or I don't know, somebody useful. But
yeah.
I give it a 7.
All right. That's fair. All right. Yeah. I think that's all the question I got. You basically summed up everything else. All right. So I guess I'll go to my next anime. All right. So the next anime I have for me is Bloom Into You. So the last time we talked about this anime in the last podcast, it was basically that romance anime between that slice of life anime as well, with the 2 female leads, Toka, the black-haired girl, and Yu, the pink-haired girl, who's like the main character. Like, Yu was the one who we see we're basically watching the anime her point of view. So the last time we left off with that anime though was the first episode, and it left off with Toka basically saying, like, confessing her feelings to Yu, just saying like after Yu just rejected this one guy that confessed to her in middle school, and right after she like rejected that guy, Toka looks at her and she just says, "Oh, I know you say you never felt that spark, but I might be feeling it now." And then that like good ass soundtrack came in. I was like, "What? What is this?" I like if in any other setting, it might have came off as somewhat cheesy or cringy, but the fact that soundtrack made me care about it a lot more than I thought I would. I'm like, what the hell going on? Why is it going on? I'm getting chills. But pretty much we leave off after that, and basically after Toka says that, she just says like, "Oh, no, I was just kidding." And then like, and the reason why she said that, because at first, like, when like she said that to you was just like, what? So then like Toka kind of took her back from that. Like, "Oh, what am I saying? Oh, never mind. It's getting late. We should go to, we should go home." And then like she leaves kind of awkward and whatnot. So pretty much after that, we basically get this whole like campaign thing that's going on, where like they're like now like looking for, like, the whole school is like wondering who the next student council president is going to be and whatnot. And pretty much a lot of people are like betting on like the fact that Toka is probably going to be that one to like become student council president. And there's like a bunch of other people who are running as well, but like now like we're like the student council are like talking about like making Toka like the next student council president. And as like Toka's like And Toka also has this other friend as well, who like she's known for a while, and I forgot her name. I'll call her blonde kid. I'll call her like Jane. Yeah, I'll call her Jane. Okay, so Jane and Toka are like they're like really close friends, and she's known her for a while. And Jane's like expecting like, okay, don't worry, I'm gonna be a campaign manager. We're gonna make sure everything's good. Don't worry, it's gonna be good. And then Toka's like, oh, I was actually gonna make you my campaign manager. She's like, huh? Wait, you're not gonna make me? I know you for a while. You're gonna make this girl your campaign manager. You only known her for like 2 days. And then like you was just like, huh? I didn't even know I was gonna do like you was like confused. She's just like, she didn't even want to really, she didn't like want to be like the campaign manager for her and whatnot. But then like she like, since Toka like said that, she was like, oh, all right, I guess I'll be the campaign manager. And like Jane was kind of upset about that, but then like she was just like, all right, fine, whatever. But if you lose, then you know who to blame. I could have made you look good. Just let me. I just want to let you know that and whatnot. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. And also, I just want to bring this little side note. This is gonna be really quick. The opening for this show, it wasn't bad, but I remember. I don't know if you've seen. I know you've heard this female's voice before, but I'm just like. There's like this one specific Japanese female voice that I've heard in so many anime openings that I'm just like, she's like a millionaire at this point. Cause I'm just like, I've heard her in so many. It's like, it's like, I've heard this. I'm legit. I know for a fact I've heard this female do openings for like so many shows at this point. I was like, is she like in a room and she was like, all right, here's this opening for this anime. You got this. I'm just like, hey, anyway, that was the side note. I'm just like, I just started noticing it now because I'm just like, I've heard this female so many times do like sing a bunch of openings for shows. But anyway, we get to the campaign anyway. So we get to where are we at right now? Oh yeah. We go back to that little confessing thing, and then at first like they were like kind of like not distance to each other, but they were kind of like talking like Toka was talking to you like kind of like it never happened, like the whole like thing where she was just like, you feel that spark too, like she kind of like talked to her like it never happened. But then like as they're like talking, as like Yu's getting Toka's campaign ready and whatnot, where like she's like kind of like designing this campaign, like making this like making these flyers and whatnot, saying like vote for Toka is a vote for so and so and whatnot. And while she's doing that, they're like walking around on this in this like on pretty much like leaving school, like on this like area where this like train is at. And as they're talking, you like brings up the fact of the confession and whatnot, and then like she said like, Toka, what? Why did you confess to me and whatnot? And then like Toka's just like, oh no, it was nothing. You don't need to worry about it and whatnot. No, because I'm just like really wondering. Like it's just like why me? Like you could have thought of anyone else, but like why me and whatnot. And then like at first she's like, and then like for the long time like Toka's trying to like brush it off and whatnot. And then like no, and then like Hugh starts to get like somewhat irritated and like no, please be serious with me. Like tell me like why the hell did you choose me? Like you could have like chose anyone else. Like why you like why would you like talk to me and whatnot? Shoot, Jane could have been a better like campaign manager for you or something like that. She could have been a better campaign manager, could have been a better person for you. Like why me? Like what reason you had to love me and whatnot? And then like and there are a lot of students also around this area and whatnot. And then like Toka like runs past the train, like, and then and literally the train is about to go down, and then like she's like, you, and then like not you. I'm like you. I was about to say you. Wait, and I'm like, wait a minute. I was. Anyway, you sees Toka run through the train tracks, and she goes, Toka, wait, and then like she like runs past the train tracks too, and then the train goes by, and all the students are like behind the train, and then we go to where they're at, and then like Toka grabs her and then kisses her, and then she's like, you're just like, huh? Like Toka just like looks at her, and she's like, oh, my apologies. It's just that I can only be real around you. And then like she just walks off, and then like after she like walks off, she's like, after that day, she's like you still the campaign manager, but now like Toka's like distance towards her. Like now like it's like she's not only like she's not even like talking to her at that point. She's like being like really distance about it and whatnot. And then like I'm gonna skip ahead so I won't like take too much time and whatnot. But like and then we get to where let me see where we get to now. Oh yeah, and then we get to. And then we get to like Toka. We actually get to see Toka's point of view, like after the whole kiss and whatnot. And then like in her head, she's just like, "What did I do?" She's like wondering, like what? Like she's like in her head, like wondering, like did I just why did I do it? Like she was like, she's like wondering in her head, why did she do that and whatnot? And then like after like being so distant about it and whatnot, she finally like feels bad about it. And then like, wait, can you hear me right? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just making sure. Then that whole time just like, yeah, I went to McDonald's. What do you need? No, okay, all right. But pretty much like the next day we have Toka finally like apologizes and whatnot, and then she was conflicted because like she like. Because the thing is, like, her thoughts aren't the same as Toka. Like, at first, like, when, like, she said, like, I'll say, like, this is why I did like the way they did it compared to, like, a banana fish, where I feel like, you understand me. I sound like, huh? It's just like, it, like, went so fast and whatnot. But with this one, like, Toka, like, she, like, said, like, she, like, felt that spark, like, right away. And you was more, like, confused. Like, she just didn't, like, she didn't feel that or anything like that. She was more, like, just, like, what is going on? Why is this female, like... I didn't expect this. Like, it's just like caught her off guard, and now she's like conflicted because like now like she thought because like and she's more conflicted now. Not even the fact that like she like not even the fact that like Toka confessed to her, but the fact that like she used to think that like her and Toka were the same because they never felt that spark of love. They like never like once felt that spark, but now like Toka's felt that spark with her, and now she's just like, now I'm just alone again. It's just like she felt the spark, but I still didn't. Like what? Like we're not the same at all. And then like, and she's like conflicted about that for the longest time. And then like she, and then like she just like kind of like, she's like worried now because like she's like wondering like, is Toka gonna like ask me out or whatnot? Like is there like some gonna happen or whatnot? But then like we get to next day, she's like wondering because now it's starting to be like for you it's starting to be like awkward to be around Toka and whatnot because she has feelings for her and whatnot. So now like you just like talk to her. It's like, oh yeah, we got the campaign here. I made this flyer here. Like she's like just talk about the campaign. She's like not talk about anything of the like the kiss or any of the relationship wise or anything. Like you just like completely ignoring it now, just like act like a friend and whatnot. And then like Toka's just like, oh don't worry, I'm not gonna ask you out. Don't worry, I'm fine with that. And then like you was just like, huh? And they're like, yeah, I'm fine with my feelings being this way. If you don't want to go out with me, that's fine with me. And then like you was kind of like, oh okay, that's good. But she's like still kind of awkward about it and whatnot. And it kind of like this like few episodes were kind of just slow, where it just kind of like it was mostly just like her like where it really just shows like Yu's confliction with like what like Toka's feeling and whatnot, and like kind of distancing her, and how like Toka like doesn't want to like over push you and just like kind of like, no, you'll go gay for me. Take me out. No, it's just like it wasn't like that. It was more like just like wondering like it was kind of like a so sorry, but like it was kind of like just like wondering like you just like both sides of each other, just wondering like what's going on and whatnot. And then like we get to the last part where like we're like doing the campaign now, where like they're like voting to see who's gonna be a next student council president, and now like Toka's like now like Toka and like and you are about to do this like big speech and whatnot, and they had to do a speech. And during that time, it's just like you can see like you was like somewhat nervous and whatnot. And Toka's just like, she's like that type of person where like you never see nervous. She's like always like that got like conviction. She's like smiling all the time. She's like good and whatnot. And then like you just like looking at her and she says like, it's all right. It's all right. And then like it's like and that's when like Toka like realized the reason why like she like fell for her to begin with, because like the moment like you like looked at her, even though she like had this completely like still image, she was smiling, she was happy, and she looked like she was like the most confident ever. The moment she was like, can I speak to you in the back? And then you looked at her and just she said like, it's all right. It's all right. And then like Toka's like and then like her entire demeanor changed and whatnot, because like you realized that she was what the hell? Oh no, it was like something possible, but you realized that Toka was nervous about that, and like she said, and that's when Toka said like, oh yeah, that's the reason why I probably fell for you, because you're the only one that can see you're the only one that can see the real me. You're the only one that can see the mask under you can see the layer under the mask and whatnot. And then like you said like, oh yeah, of course I can see it, because unlike you, I'm not hiding anything. I know I'm nervous. And then like you can just see it. And then like she like, and then like Toka like looks at you, and then like she like puts her head on top, like she like puts her head on like you shoulder, and then she said like, you're the only one that gets to see this side of me. Huh? If you find out, if anyone if anyone finds out about this, I'll kill you, okay? And it's like, he was like, okay. And I'm like, huh? And then that's where it ends. I'm like, huh? Like, that's where it ends and whatnot. But like, for right now, I'd say like, it was like somewhat of a slow start, but like I'm still like somewhat invested with it and whatnot, because I feel like the one thing I did like about this episode, it's like I'll say what?
I know why you're invested, because it's 2 girls, not 2 guys.
Wait, 2 girls. Oh no, believe me, there was this one anime I saw 2 girls. I'll tell you about this where it's just like, oh, you kissed me, sister. I was like, huh? And then like I was like, all right, now I've never watched this show again. I was like, I just dropped right then and there. But for this one, I will say I do like the progression, the slow start of what's coming, of what's going on in this anime. And the one thing I do like about this one, more in the first episode when I watched it, is that I felt like the first episode when they was talking about romance and love and like, oh, are we gonna date or whatnot, it felt like very cheesy, where I felt like these last few episodes didn't have that. It kind of had the Through God's No Line kind of slow pace where it kind of worked and it was kind of needed, and because of that, it didn't feel cheesy anymore. It didn't feel like as like cliche or like cheesy or kind of like cringy. It kind of worked and it made sense. It felt real. That's the best way to describe it and whatnot. So like, I'm definitely saying, like, I wouldn't say, oh, that was the amazing episode or whatnot. I definitely say like, I'm intrigued to see where this go. I was like, yeah, man, 10 out of 10, man. When he was just like, you don't tell anyone. And I was like, yeah, don't tell anyone, man. Like, it was more like I'm intrigued and invested to see where this goes, because I actually do feel like this has potential to go somewhere. but any
very potential to go somewhere, to the bed.
That's what I'm waiting for. I ain't dropping this until I see where it goes. I'll be like, you think I'm gonna drop it before they get to the bed? Hell nah. But any questions?
No. That's so far. None so far.
Okay. All right. I guess and I'll probably give it like I say I might give I'm like maybe a 7.5, because like in between like a 7 or an 8, right? That's not probably say a 7.5 for right now. I give it that for now. But yeah, you can go to your next anime.
So this next anime was called Devilman Cry.
Oh yeah.
Or was it Devilman Crybaby? Devilman
Crybaby. So, I know it wasn't Devilman Cry. I know it wasn't. I was like, you saw that anime.
So in the last episode, I was talking about all the freaky things that happened at that party, mm-hmm. The whole scenes, the sex scene and whatnot. But anyway, so we get to episode 2. The main character, he looks a lot older now per se. He's kind of like, I mean, he doesn't look like him, but it's kind of like how you can just look at Zangetsu, or you can tell he's like different in a way. So he walked up to these girls that were like, this door was like locked, and these girls were trying to get in. And that was when the main character, he walked in, he just helped them open the door. And all of a sudden they were like, he's so cool. Huh? Just open the door. All right. He just opened the door. And then it showed when he was and then it showed him at track when he was in this track segment when he was about to take off and run. And he outran everybody in like 10 seconds tops. They were like, oh snap, he's so cool, he's so different. What's going on with him? And then after that, it showed another segment of when he was in an auditorium. He was like watching porn on the video on the auditorium, and he had it at max volume where you can like hear them. Where you can like hear the most. Like, yeah, I was like, turn it down. Everybody can hear it. And then he goes outside, and then they see that bulge in his pants. He's so cool.
That's like someone saw Esteban. He's so.
And then next thing you know, we go outside, and that area where he ran into those he was told he had to go I think he had to pick up a bag for his friend. So he went out to that pond where he was at the other day, where he ran into those beatboxers, and he heard them beatboxing. They were like, yeah. And he ran into them, and he was like, yeah, what do you want? And he was like, yeah, I'm just here to pick up this coat for my friend. Get off our turf. And what if I say no? And actually, the main character, he just beat them 3 up that fast. Oh. And they all ended up in the water.
Oh, snap.
And then after that, that was when he went to go visit his friend in the hospital, the guy in the white lab coat. And then that was when the guy in the white lab coat was trying to tell him about what happened last night, the transformation, and about how these zombies were killing people in town. And he was pretty much telling him how the main character looks somewhat different now, like his whole form completely changed to where he doesn't look like a high schooler, but he looks like an older adult now. And then that was when these guys he pretty much went to this alley to test out. They wanted to go to this alley, this dark alley to test out his new power. So they were in this alley, and this guy, he was like hidden in like some kind of shed and whatnot. And it showed like these three store marketer guys. They suddenly got transformed into zombies. And then after that, they were like, hold on, I smell something. And then that was when you see them walking slowly towards the shed near the reporter. And the reporter's trying to hide himself so the zombies don't see him. And that was when the main character showed up. And he said he was looking at those three guys who was in those three store clerks. Because pretty much, I think if you're like bitten or something, you get controlled or something like that. I think that's how it works. So he was pretty much talking to those three store clerks. He was like, "You did this. You're the one turning this whole city into this mess." And that was when he like transformed into like this demon-like creature. And then he was like attacking them and biting off their head and whatnot. And then that was when the guy who was hiding in the shed. It turns out he was a reporter. He was filming this. He was like, "Oh snap! This is a new scoop. The Devilman cry." So he put out his camera. He started filming. After that, he took off and ran. And that was when the guy in the lab coat, he saw him filming him. She's like, hold on, we gotta stop him. And he was like trying to limp and get towards him. And that was when the reporter, he got in his car and he drove off. That was when he took off. So then that was when pretty much the next episode, he was in his car. He got in his car and he was like driving to like the news reporter place, right? And then for some reason, this slime thing had gotten his car. It was like some slimy like creature, but he couldn't see it. And the slime thing was just sitting there. And then so it was like sitting there waiting in the car. And the next thing you know, the guy, he got out and he tried to talk to the news reporter guy. And he tried to like show him the video of what happened last night. And the news reporter guy, he didn't believe him. The chief, he didn't believe him because he's like, they already have a show called Devilman Cry pretty much on their TV that comes on at night for the kids. So he thought it was just that. So that was when the reporter guy, he just left and he got in his car. And then he was thinking to himself, he's like, what can I do? Maybe I'll blackmail him. Maybe I'll show his parents. And the next thing you know, that was when the slime starts filling up the car with water. And the next thing you know, the guy who starts drowning, he's like, oh! And the next thing you know, that's when the slime like goes inside his mouth and like takes over his whole body. Oh. And now he was in control of him. And then that was when the lab coat guy and Akira, they were trying to they went to his house first. Like they got there before he did. And they were like trying to look for him and go up to his computer, and they like pretty much stole the info. And then that was when he pretty much paid his mom off like, here's $1,000. Tell no one you saw us. Okay. So that was and then pretty much they were trying to chase down the guy in the like lab coat. So that was when not the guy in the lab coat. They were trying to chase down the reporter guy. So the reporter guy, he was at his he went back to his own hideout, not his mom's house, but his own hideout. But he was like in control. He was in his control form, that water thing. And that was when this girl came in. This high school girl wanted to like take a bath at his place for some odd reason. I don't know why, but she pretty much like came in and like started trying to take a bath, and he was like, "Yeah, that's cool, that's cool." And the next thing you know, he has like his house is like an X-ray kind of thing in his house. So imagine if you could like see through your wall in your house. So he pretty much turned it on and saw her shower, and he was like, "Hey, I ain't got to be in the shower with you." So he just started taking pictures of her in the shower through the X-ray. Because he already had a bad reputation anyway, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh yeah.
And then that was when the main character showed up, and that was when he started beat up the news reporter guy. And then some guy, like the news reporter guy, was trying to distract him so he could get hit from behind. But then that was when the lab coat, he shot at his partner. So that was when he was on like this wild goose chase with the reporter guy. But then that slime went out of his mouth and took over that girl's body. So she pretty much like ran out of the house naked and whatnot, trying to escape the main character. That's pretty much where it ended, like right there.
All right. Okay, so what would you probably say would you say you're intrigued with where the story's going so far? Now he's like kind of gotten older now, and just like his progression as a character. Like, how do you say you're feeling him right now, and like where the story's going so far?
It's I could say it's a progression. I was just a bit confused when they were like, what this whole skit thing about, he's so cool.
Yeah.
Nah.
But
it didn't like, it wasn't like a turn off, but it was like, all right, I mean, it was kind of funny in a way, so I just went with it.
Okay. Just imagine when you brought that porn thing where you're just like, oh my God, he's so cool. Huh? But anyway, what you about to say?
But I'd say I'm feeling the progression. I just want to see where this goes.
Okay. How'd you say the animation was? I think I remember you bringing up how the animation was. And you said
animation still kind of like, it just looked like.
Okay. What about the soundtracks?
No soundtracks really stand out so far.
Okay. All right. So what would you probably say you would give it so far from like the episodes you've seen so far?
I mean, I'd give it an 8 just to see where this goes. I'm still curious to see what they're doing.
All right. Okay, an 8. Okay, that's fair.
At least it didn't feel so forced like that first anime I talked about.
Oh yeah, that first anime, yeah. I could tell. I had a feeling that anime was gonna be bad the moment you talked about it, I was like, yeah, he definitely doesn't like this anime. All right. Okay. I guess I'll go with my next anime then. All right. So, the next anime I have is from the last podcast is Kokkoku, and basically, and it was probably the most anime that had the most potential out of all of last anime from like when I was talking about it and whatnot, where it was about the girl and like his like grandfather like showed him that like they had the power to like stop time and whatnot, and then they go in this like world where like time is literally like non-existent and you're just like moving in this like limbo where like no one moves and whatnot. But as they were like moving to this world, I'll go a little bit back because like her like brother got kidnapped, her brother and her nephew got kidnapped, and then she had to go and like rescue them, like her father and her grandfather. Like that's when they found out about that's when the grandfather like showed them like the stop time world, and then they went to like go get that gang who like had their brother and nephew and whatnot. So during that time at the end of the show, we had this new group that comes out that are walking in the stop time world. So apparently they probably had the same power, and they basically like came in and they start beating the mess out of both of them. And then we find out the grandfather had this ability to teleport, and then they like run off, and that's where we leave off. We leave off with the grandfather and the main character running off, and then we have the father still there, and then those like I say gang members. These gang members like kidnap
the yellow
father,
scars,
like the yellow scar, like oh, I've been waiting for this. No, nah. So pretty much they kidnapped the father and whatnot, and plus that last thing where like one of the men like who was like right behind the other gang members, they were like and then they get like eaten by a demon and whatnot. Because and I found out about this later because like now I'll get to like the present day where we're at the next episodes, where the only reasons demons show up in this world is whenever you break the rules of this world. So like in this world, which is what's the name of the world called again? It's called something. I'll look it up later. I'll say like in limbo. I'll say so basically in limbo stasis. That's what it's called. So in stasis, which is the world where time doesn't exist, in stasis, if you break certain rules of this world, that's when the demons appear, and that's when they try to kill you. And one of the things and one of the rules that you break of this world is killing another life, or like doing something like that, like killing another life. Basically, like, you like usual things like killing, thief, sexual activity, or something like that in this world. That's when they come and kill. And there's other rules as well that we don't know, but that's just like some of the simple ones. We only find out about those rules when we see someone do it. That's why the dude who was like down below, like he like killed one of the gang members. One of the gang members that was like stopped through time. He's like, "Hey, why are you looking at me like that?" Pow! He wasn't even moving, but he just killed him. And then like the demon character like, "What? No!" And then like he ends up getting eaten. So pretty much we get the grandfather and Kokkoku, like they're like running away from these like gang members and whatnot. They're like long gone at this point. And Jerry, the main character, the female character, now I remember the name, she like talked to her grandfather. She's like learning like how can I learn the ability to teleport as well? And then like he's like saying like oh no, everyone in stasis has their own ability and whatnot. I don't know what your ability is because it took me forever to figure out what my ability was and whatnot. That's why I have the ability to teleport. And then like she's like, oh, okay. Is there like a way to like learn or whatnot? Oh no. It's just like it just sort of happened. I just can teleport. And I was like, all right, well, that's very vague. All right. And then like they're now like looking for a way to like get out of stasis, because now they need to like figure out how to get out of stasis, so like the gang members don't like come back and kill them and whatnot. So pretty much the grandfather talks to Jury, and the grandfather says like, Jury, you have to go and get the stone, which is the stone that they use to go back to to go inside of stasis to begin with. So she has to run to the house, and then the grandfather's like, oh yeah, I had to get this other tool, because the only way we can get back to stasis is if we had this item, because we have to use this item to get out of stasis or something like that. So basically they split up and they had to go do their own thing. So we get to Jerry's point of view, where like she's like running and whatnot. She's like looking for that she's basically looking for the stone and whatnot, and she ends up getting captured by gang members. They were already at the house and they were like waiting for her and whatnot. And it was like and basically like, the gang members like cracked me up though, because it was just like, he's like, come on man, look at that ass man, come on man, God, no, stop right there, this ain't kidnap, not do anything, come on man, you don't know man, it's been forever man. And then this is why I knew like some of them were gonna end up dying and whatnot. And then like there was also this one, I'll be skipping ahead, I'll talk about that scene in a second, but basically they're like grabbing her on the ground, then one of them just like they're like grabbing her, and she's like, no, I know I need that stone, she's like, shut up. And then the guy like starts like choking her and whatnot, and then like she's like about to like lose oxygen and whatnot, and like about to pass out, but right before that her eyes just turn white, boom, and then like next thing you know, like the dude's like, huh, why is he frozen? What happened? Boom. And then like shit just comes out of nowhere and just like touches the other dude, and now he's frozen. So apparently her ability, and this is why I found out later on, is the people who can walk in stasis, the world without time, the people that can walk in stasis, the only reason they had the ability to walk in stasis is if they have these jellyfish creatures called specters. It's these invisible demons called specters, and whenever they go into stasis, they absorb their body, and they pretty much fuse with the specters in order for them to walk inside of the frozen world. And the ability that Jury now has, when we see this full play, when she touches someone, she takes the specters out of their body, basically freezing them and making them just like everyone else in the frozen world, basically freezing them. So next thing you know, like she just starts going after all the gang members out of nowhere. She just like pretty much goes badass mode out of nowhere, where like she just has like these like glowing light blue eyes, and she just like boom boom, and then, like you see the gang like, no, don't touch me, and like she just like grabs them and just like freezes everyone and like all the gang members and whatnot, and then grabs the stone and like moves on and whatnot. So that's basically what happens there. And then like we also get like, and also the thing that made it funny was the fact that like we had her point of view, and then we also had the gang members' point of view as well, where we see like some of the other gang members, like they're like in a store and there's like, yo man, grab all these snacks, man. And man, his friends like basically like, well, like to like show like what a person would do if like they had the power to like freeze time and whatnot. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I'm just making sure. But like, it was like basically like it showed all his gang members doing what any other person would have done if they had the power to like stop time and whatnot. Where it's like, oh man, we had a convenience store, grab all this stuff, and then they was like messing with like the clerk who couldn't move because he's frozen. Like, haha, you want these Reese's Pieces? Ha, they mine now. You can't even steal. You can't even call the cops, man. They're like stealing these magazines and whatnot. And then like one of the people was in like. One of the people's like looking at Playboy, yeah, man, free Playboy, man, and whatnot. And then like one of the gang members like looking at him and it's like, huh? Man, why are you looking at Playboy, man? You got the real thing right here. And it was like this like frozen lady, and she was just like in the convenience store as well. And she was like, yeah, man, look at that. Like they started taking off her clothes. And I'm like, oh no. And then like they started like taking off clothes, like, yeah, man, see, we can do whatever we want. It's frozen. They can't do anything to us, man. And the next time, no. And then like the demons came in and started eating and whatnot. Because that's what happened, because they broke the rules. That's basically what happens and whatnot. So I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead now, and then we get to. And then we get to also the main character, the main villain of the one who I said like in the last episode also had like this really like cool look to him. He had like this like slick back hair but like spiked up in the back or whatnot. And he had like this suit on, and like we get to see like his point of view and whatnot. And he starts to realize that like anyone who like, ooh, excuse me. But like he starts to realize that anyone who like breaks a certain rule there like pretty much like gets killed by the demons and whatnot. And basically now he's like he's basically using his gang members as like pawns to like study the demons and basically he's like using them. He's like, look, basically that's the reason why he like tells the gang members like, oh, go do whatever you want, because he's like he's basically like watching them and seeing like, okay, so don't undress females' clothing. Let me write that one down. He's like, repress right now all the rules you can do in stasis of like what's like what can you do and what can't you do in stasis, and like looking at that and just seeing like how can we like, and we don't know his plan yet, but you can tell like he's like has like this one plan that he wants to do in stasis that he's like studying and whatnot. And like also the one thing we do know is that like his grandfather, his like not his grandfather, the jury's grandfather, the main female character's grandfather, he has like history with like his ancestors and whatnot, and like they apparently like the main villain's parents apparently had that ability to like stop time, but apparently Jerry's ancestors stole that ability from them and whatnot. And now that he has it back, he's now like using that to his advantage and whatnot. He's pretty much trying to take back what's his and whatnot. That's like somewhat of the plan we get, but it's an even bigger plan on top of that. But we don't really get the gist of it later on. We don't really get the gist of it just yet. That's just like all we know of the plan so far. Well, like he's just trying to get back what's his and whatnot. And then basically we get like Gramps and Jury like meeting up again. Where it's like,
that was my girl. She's mine.
She's mine. She's mine. And then we get Gramps and Jury meeting up again. And then like this is actually a smart thing that happened right now. This is actually one of the smartest things that one of the gang members did and whatnot. They're like, well, so pretty much like I said, everyone's frozen except for the people who like have the specters inside of them. Obviously, some of the gang members, the main villain, and like Jury, Gramps, and the father and whatnot who got kidnapped. Like they're the only ones that can like move around this world and whatnot. And as like Jury and Gramps like walking, and they're like now like looking for their father and like getting him back now so they can like get out of stasis and whatnot. As they're like walking and they see like all the people still, you see one of them this like frozen, and then like you see their eyes move, and then they grab her. Like, I got her. Yeah, let's go. And then like that's where it ends. And then like you saw like one of them like, so basically like what the gang members did was they acted like they were frozen, and then they just like looked and they're like, "You're mine." I was like, no. They like grabbed her, grabbed the stone. Now like they like kidnapped her and whatnot. And that's like where like ended off and whatnot. But like so far I'm like really feeling this show. I'm like, cause like it like has like a good mesh of like it's like the serious parts like they come off like. It's like it has like really good like action scenes, like because I did like that part where like when Jury like had like her ability was like shown, and she like pretty much like froze all them people, like made like took them specters out of those people's bodies and whatnot. I did like that scene, but it also has a weird mesh of comedy that came out of nowhere, like really like they're really like having like laughing out loud because it was just like I like saw certain things that like anyone else with that ability would do. So I'm just like, okay, so they're doing it in like a weird realistic sense where it's just like, yeah, man, we can steal whatever we want, we can do whatever, man, time's gone and whatnot. So I like seeing that point of view, but on top of the point of view of like the main character where like she's like trying to get her family back and whatnot. So like so far I'm really interested with this anime right now. So far I'm actually liking it. But any questions?
Nope. No, I'm playing.
All right, well, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did not.
So if you did, if you were in that world, do you think you would have eventually ended up losing your mind? Not like, obviously right off the bat, you know, kind of like in our current society, you wouldn't really lose your mind because you're so adjusted to laws. If like months on end go by, a year on end goes by, you don't get curious of the unknown, and it makes you think, what if I steal this one time? Or, I mean, she's frozen solid. That because, so you don't think you'd eventually lose sight of...
See, now I 100% say, like, if I had the power to freeze time, I know for a fact I wouldn't use it for, like, any, like, sexual means or anything like that, where I'd be like, yeah, man, the girls' locker room. Nah, it wouldn't be like that. But I know for a fact, like, if I had that ability, I would try to use it in a way that comes off as, like, good, where, like, I'd be lying my ass off if I said I wouldn't steal anything. I would definitely steal some things, but I would look at it this way. I'd be like, who's the richest person here? They say, okay, he can lose some money. He can lose some money or whatnot. And then like, I would use it for like, and if I would use that money for myself, I'll also use it for like good as well. I'd be like, yeah, since I kind of stole the money, I might as well use it for like, I'd be kind of like a Robin Hood if he had the power to freeze time, where I'd just be like, all right, I'll give to the poor and I'll give to myself. I'd be like that. I'd be fair about it and whatnot. Cause like, because I'd be lying to myself, I wouldn't steal anything. I'd definitely like steal stuff. I wouldn't be like, yeah, man, I mean, she's frozen. Might as well do it or what? Like, I'll say what?
Okay, never mind. The static went away. It like came in for a minute.
Oh!
And then,
wait. Was it
but I heard
bad?
Nah, I heard.
Okay. Good. But like for me, I don't think I would do anything like sexual or anything like that, because I know like that would be a part of me where like there would be a part of me that like had that guilt after like I get out of the frozen world. I'm just like, a monster. I was like, at that point, I don't think I would. See, the only way I would lose my mind is if I was stuck in that world. That would be the only time I'd lose my mind. If I had no way of getting out of that frozen world. But if I had the ability, like, if like to snap my fingers, I could pause time, and if I can snap back, and I'm like out of the world, then yeah, I think I'll be fine. I think I wouldn't do anything like too malicious or whatnot. I probably just, I'd use it to my advantage, but I wouldn't ever like, I don't think I'll ever like scur off the like violent path. Now, if this was me like maybe like years ago, then maybe, but like the me now, I say like I know enough about myself where like I can live in that world mentally. But, you know, I'm kind of curious about you now. How like how you think you'd fit in that world now?
See, I'd say I'm half and half. I mean, maybe not immediately, but I'll probably say like months on in, and you're on in. I mean, I'm like, just dip my foot in the water. I'd probably be like, well, I mean, frozen. She's frozen. Nobody's around. I guess I'll just pick up the skirt just for now. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt anybody. I'm just picking up the skirt.
See, that's how it starts. That's like the gateway drug. It starts off with the skirt, then the nah. See, that's why I can't do it, because I know it's the gateway. It's talking about, I was like, I mean, I don't smoke weed, but you know what? I might take a listen. Next thing you know, you're snorting cocaine on the back of a Denny's backyard crap. Nah. Okay, I get you. I don't think I'd ever dip my foot that far in the water. But I know where not to tread. But if I was like stuck there, then yeah, I probably would like at some point. Cause at that point, I would be like, there's stuff that I can do. Might as well go all out. And they're like, yeah, that's when I lose my mind. But any other questions?
No.
Okay.
But I just curiosity.
And I'll probably give it like, right now I'll probably give it about like an 8.5. I feel like it's like in between like an 8. Now I'll probably give it like an 8.5 right now. Cause I'm like really liking this show right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, you can go your next anime now.
So this next anime here is Persona 5.
Okay.
And I'm trying to remember where I left off the last episode.
I think you said like he got his persona, like the main character got his persona ability, and then that's where it left off. Like I think it was right around there.
Oh yeah. That is where it left off. Okay, so in this episode 2, he pretty much awakened his persona, and he pretty much like took out those guards pretty quickly. And then him and Ryuji escaped the palace, and they were pretty much late to school. Mm-hmm. And they showed up on the steps, and then pretty much the principal told them, like, they had like small talk with like Kamoshida and whatnot, and then they like came in, and then the teacher introduced Ren, and then they were like, yeah, he was late because he was like sick and whatnot. And that was when he was walking by, and then this blonde girl, she was like, liar. And then after that, he just pretty much sat down, and then you pretty much heard the whole class gossiping. They were like, don't look at him. He'll hurt us. He said, I heard if you stare at him, he'll catch you after class and stuff like that. And then that was when a teacher told him to share the like textbooks with him. And then there's one person, they pretty much like just slid their book to the end of the desk. Like it was like nowhere near his seat. They just slid it to the end of the desk, and they just turned around and started talking. I was like, all right, I see how it is. Mm-hmm. And that was when after class, she met with him, ran in the hallway and told him to like stay away from Ryuji. That was when Ryuji showed up, and he made some smart remark to the teacher. I forgot what he said. He just pretty much like whispered in Ren's ear and told him like come up to the rooftop. And then they were pretty much came up to the rooftop. They were discussing like Kamoshida's palace, like was it a dream and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went back into the palace. And see, the problem I have with the palace is that they skip around a bit too much. They don't even like they don't even like show everything. It's just like imagine me and you were talking and we're walking to school. But instead of us walking through the hallway, like just skip here, okay, skip here, all right, he's there. It's that kind of thing.
Just like talking next to we're in the lunchroom, and then we're like, we're outside. Oh, guess school's over. I'm like, what? That's it?
Yeah, it's pretty much like that. And then so pretty much they ran into the cat, and then the cat showed them where a treasure was automatically. They were just like, right there, here's the treasure.
Oh, what? Oh, what?
They didn't even like, what? So I'm like, all right. So after that, they went to school, and they were like, questioning people about Kamoshida and whatnot. Oh, actually, no. They had this volleyball game.
Oh, yeah.
And you know how in the game, it was Ren watching on the sidelines, and there was that leader, the leader who was getting hit with the ball.
Yeah.
Well, this time, it was Ren who was getting hit with the ball. Like it was him and Kamoshida, they were like squaring off. And then after that, that was when Kamoshida was pretty much hitting him with the ball. And then he got knocked down. And then he stood up again. And then he was like, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, what have we been doing in practice? And after that, Ray got knocked down again. And this time, that was when his glasses got knocked off. And that was when Ren, he stood up. And he had like this look in his eye. And it was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like one of those looks that give you like a chill on your spine. Like, you done fucked up. So he stared at Kamoshida and like that look. And then Kamoshida, he started sweating. He was like, next, please. He said the next two. So I will give the props for that scene there. They really built up the leaders there. And then after that was when they started talking to different people asking about is he like abusing them and stuff like that. And everybody was like avoiding the question and whatnot. And then that was when they went outside. It was like, you know what, we're just gonna talk to the ladies for once. And then that was when they ran outside and they ran into like Shiho. And they started talking to her. And that was when Anne kind of like butted in. And then she was like, this doesn't have anything to, leave them out of it or something like that. They like kind of like ran off or whatever. And then that was when the messed up part was after Anne like defended for Shiho, then after that, it showed a segment to where they were like walking in the courtyard, right? And then Kamoshida showed up. And then that was when Anne, she left Shiho there. She was like, I gotta go, bye. And she just ran off and she left her there. Shiho was like, wait. And I was when Kamoshida slowly approached her. And then Kamoshida, he put her, just like grabbed her arm and dragged her to the office. And then it showed her. And I was with Kamoshida alone. And I was with Kamoshida. I thought Kamoshida was gonna do what I thought he was gonna do. But instead I was like, he just started hitting her. He was like, and he just started hitting her. I was like, all right. I thought they were gonna take the rape route. But all right. So then after that was when later that day Alan had got like a phone call, and that was when Alan was like she like pretty much like turned down Kamoshida's deal, said something about being on the team. In order for Shiho to be on the team, she gotta meet with Kamoshida and do stuff with him. So that was when she turned that down and she started like crying. And that was when like Ren showed up and he like listened to what she had to say and whatnot, on like what to do and whatnot. And then that was when after that phone call ended, it showed like Shiho again. And this was like late in the afternoon in like the school building. And that was when this guy walked up to the leader of the Phantom Thief. He walked up to him and he was like, so Kamoshida needs you in his office. He didn't say what it was, but he needs you for something. And that was when she walked to his office again. The lights were off. It was just him and her. And it just showed like segments of him like grabbing her hand and whatnot, and, like smacking her around the room. And it's right there. And then after that was when pretty much the next day was when they were inside the classroom. And then that was when they were like, what's that outside? What's going on? And they see her on the roof. And then she pretty much, this time, unlike the game, it actually showed her hit the ground. Oh! So it showed her like laid out on the ground all beat up. I was like, oh, all right. And then they were like trying to talk about, they were like, is there like a principal or somebody around to go with her to the hospital and whatnot? And then instead it was like, I just decided to be that person to go with her. And that was when that guy, he took off. Yeah, so pretty much after the leader of the Phantom Thieves took off, and they just started like questioning him about the Kamoshida thing, and that was when they pretty much all ran to Kamoshida's office, and they like confronted him and whatnot about it. And then Kamoshida was like laughing about they don't have like any proof of the whole suicide thing. And I was when Ryuji was about to like hit the teacher, and then that was when they like stopped him right there. Mm-hmm. And then he said something about them being like he was going to expel all of them, and then he pretty much told him about how the leader of the Phantom Thieves ratted out Ren's Pass. Mm-hmm. So, and that was when they pretty much went to the other world and Kamoshida's palace, and then that was when they cut to the part where I'm just skipping ahead to where they ran into Kamoshida in the palace, and Ryuji was talking about how Kamoshida was the one that broke his leg, so why he couldn't join the track team and whatnot, and then that was when he pretty much like awakened his persona and whatnot, and then like An snuck into the palace as well, and then they got back into a corner, and then she awoke in her persona, and then it just ended right there.
Oh, okay. All right. So how'd you say from transition from the games to now, how'd you say the transition, how do you feel about like the story so far from how the way they transition the stuff from the school and the dungeons and the palace so far?
Our problems with it is that they're skipping over like major key points. Like they're just skipping fast. Even the fighting scene to that, when the player is down, and you get to do that combo team attack.
Oh yeah.
Everybody just does that like move. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did the same thing in the show, but it just didn't feel as satisfying.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Could have done something.
I know, it was just like, what is it? See, that's also why I know that like the animation was just kind of like when I was just like, it's not the same. It's not the same. But okay. So what you say about like I'm trying to remember do you remember hearing any different soundtracks from that wasn't in the game in the show?
Nah, they played the same soundtracks.
Okay, so you didn't hear any different song there. Okay, see, I'm thinking of Persona 4 the anime, a better anime than this anime, but because it didn't really like focus too much on like the game differently. Like usually, because like certain like I think there might be
that was probably another downfall of this show as well, was that they reused the same soundtracks as the game.
Yeah.
So that feels unique.
Yeah, that's the one thing, because like the one thing I will give the like Persona 4 anime is that like they did like give us different soundtracks, where for this one it was mostly, I think there might be like one different one out there, but I don't think it was one where I was just like, oh snap, I'm gonna download it. It was more like, oh well, at least it's new. Okay. So how do you feel like Ren so far from a character, consider like now like, you're not controlling him and you're like looking at him as a character now? How do you feel about him?
I'd say it's intriguing. I mean, they're giving him his screen time. I did like that volleyball scene.
Okay. So what would you probably put it right now? What would probably be your rating so far from watching it?
I give it about a 7.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't think I got. Yeah, I think you didn't said the gist of an hour, and I asked like the questions that was needed. All right. I guess I'll go with my next anime then. All right. So this is my last anime right here, and right here we have my last anime, which is Darling of the FranXX. And the last time we left off about this anime, it was basically that anime where I talked about where like where a guy and a girl like they had to like get together in order to use a mech, and like that's the only way any working mech works in this anime and whatnot. And the last time we left off, we had like this female character came in with pink hair, with long pink hair, named 02. Like it's just like literally numbers. It's just 02. That's it. And like she basically came in, and then like she like had this even powerful mech, and then like her like one of her male pilot died, and then like she was like, I need someone to like I need someone for this mech. And then like that's when the main character came in, Hero. Yeah. He comes in and he says like, oh, I'll do it. And then like, they like take on the monster, and then they like kill the monster in like one shot and whatnot. And that's when they realized they had like powerful chemistry inside the mech and whatnot. So that's where we left off from that anime and whatnot. So we get to the next episode, and we get to the opening, and the opening like it wasn't what I expected the opening to be like after watching the first episode. I expected a more like rockish opening, but instead we get this more like somber opening where it's like, I was like, huh? You showed us the right anime. It looked like it would have worked for like a slice of life anime. But I'm just like, this is like action, like blowing up robots and demons. I'm like, what? This don't work. It also reminded me of like that. You remember the opening of
Regards to the light.
No, not Regards to the Light. No. It was. To be fair, actually, it actually does work too. But I was thinking of more lines like, do you remember how unfitting it was when you heard the opening of season 3 of Attack on Titan, where it's like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, huh? This is the opening? Like, do you remember that? Or it just kind of blurred to you? Like, that's kind of how it was, where it just kind of like, it just really didn't fit for the setting. You know, like, the Regards to the Lion one actually fits even better. I actually brought that up. But anyway, we get to the show itself though, and it's like the main character's like talk to himself. And like I said before this, I'm like kind of half and half on Hero for the time being, because like he started off kind of conflicted with himself because of what he did, because he I
touched her boobies.
Like,
I'm sorry.
I mean before that, I mean when like he like lost his pilot license because of some accident that happened with him and his partner, and then like the reason why it became half and half was because when he met 02, the long hair, pink hair girl, she was like, "Oh, you're naked? Oh, I'm sorry." After the guy embarrassed one, I'm like, "What is it?" And like that's why I'm somewhat half and half. And now like he's like talking to himself, and he's just saying like. After the events of what happened when he like wrote with 02, he like said like, I swear to myself, I'll never run away again. And then I did like that line, and then like we like later on hoping like okay he might stay as that character this time. And then we get to this other character that we see. She was in the other episode, but like they didn't like she didn't even get like any like real screen time, like any like said any dialogue. So I didn't really like think about bringing her up or like in the show or whatnot. So we get Hiro talk to this girl with blue hair, and her name is Ichigo. Like just Ichigo. I was like, huh, oh, okay, that's the first I ever heard another character named Ichigo. But like it was like, but yeah. So we get this girl named Ichigo like talking to Hero and whatnot, and she's basically talking smack about like 02 and whatnot, basically saying like, you sure you want to work with her and whatnot. She's kind of like, she's like, oh yeah, she basically like talks about how 02 has never had. She's literally 02 has had a bunch of male partners in the past, but none of them have ever made it out there alive. He's like, yeah, about like 2 or 3 missions, they're all dead, every single one of them. You sure you want to do that? And then like he's like, nah, I think it was different between us. Nah, I think we actually have something there. I think it was different between like all those other like guys and whatnot. Considering like that would make sense why the other person died right then and there in the last episode. They're like, I need a pilot, and they're like, oh, I'm here. So basically, we also get introduced to Hiro's squad. There's like this whole squad of other pilots, because like there's like tiers of like of pilots in this show, and like the pretty much the important tier we get to see is Squad 13, which is Hiro's squad, which
the 13 Court Guard squad.
So wait, you said what?
The 13 Court Guard squad.
Oh yeah, basically, yeah, 13 Court Guard. There we go. And the moment I saw this squad and I saw them, they were all like eating at the lunch table and whatnot. It was just like, it was literally like, what's the word I'm like? Oh yeah, it was like, did someone order the cliche anime characters care package? Because it was just like a room of anime cliche characters. It was like, we got the big-breasted shy girl, the flat-chested girl that always talks about the big-breasted girl's boobs. We got the serious girl that doesn't really speak much. We got that one. We got the cocky perverted guy character, and then we also have Ichigo, the blue hair character, who, now I can bring this up, is definitely a tsundere. Like, you know, like just in case you forgot what tsundere is, it's the guy that like the girl that acts like she doesn't like the main character, and then like, but you know for a fact she likes the main character. She's like, no, talk to me, and like slaps her. Like that's definitely her character. I knew it right off the bat when I saw Ichigo. I'm like, oh no, she's one of those. So like when I saw Ichigo, that's when I was kind of like, and then like we get to see, that's the one, that's why I actually do like 02 a lot in the show, because she's the only one that doesn't focus on that stereotype. She doesn't feel like a cliche or a stereotype. She actually feels like the most original character in this show. And like obviously Ichigo hates her because of the fact, not only the fact that like she's a better pilot than her, but the fact that she keeps talking to Hiro, the main character, and whatnot. She's like, no, Don't you talk to him? I was like, I thought you didn't like me. You keep treating me like a bit. Like, it's the dumbest thing when I see a tsundere get jealous. Cause I'm just like, you treat me like a bitch every single time I talk to you. And now you're getting jealous because I'm talking to a girl and don't treat me like shit. Like, what do you think I'm about to do? Come back to me. Let me beat you more. Like, nah, I'm good. But I really do like Zero Two's character the most, like the long-haired, pink-haired girl, because she comes off as like somewhat like cute and flirtatious towards Hiro, but at the same time, she also looks like she could kill you with a plastic fork. So I do like that like weird mystique about her, because she kind of like holds this mystery around her that makes her probably the most intriguing character in the show, and that's why like we don't really know that much about her still. So that's the one thing I do like about her. And basically while we're at the lunch table and whatnot, we get Zero Two like also there in Squad 13. She's a part of Squad 13. She's actually like one of like the top like pilot members, one of the most dangerous pilot members, and she's just like there because like she's just waiting for Hiro to show up and whatnot. She's like eating like all this food, but she like covered it all in honey. She's like, Then she's like all on her face. I'm like, what the hell? Like she's kind of like eating like she's kind of eating kind of sloppy and whatnot. And then like she like sees like, and then she kind of like sees Hiro like walk into the lunch table and whatnot, and then sits on his lap. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean like the way Zero Two someone talks, the way she like said like, oh yeah, how are you feeling, darling? Like I was like, darling. I was like just like the way she like said it. I like, no, she kind of help, but she like kind of said whatnot. So I give it that. And you remember we was talking about I remember last podcast you talked about fan service, like was there gonna be a lot of fan service in this show? Yeah, the moment I realized that was the moment they showed the all the female pilots dressing up, like putting on like a pilot gear, and literally I see the biggest butt shot I have ever seen in an anime ever. Literally like no panties or anything, like putting their panties on so like, it's stuck, and like it's like jiggling like, what is this? Like I've never seen a fancy, and like caught me off guard. He was like, oh, it's stuck. I was not ready for that. I was like, this is borderline hentai levels of like ass right here. This is like it was bad, and it was like one of the SWAT members. It wasn't any like the main character. It wasn't like 02 or anything like that. It was like one of the other like members of Squad 13 or whatnot. And we basically get okay. So basically we get to this one moment where like everyone's like dressed up. They're all like pretty much like dressing up to like fly like the new mechs and whatnot. Because they have these new mechs now called FranXX, which is where like, oh, that's where we get the title of the name, like darling of the FranXX. So like, okay. So each goes like walking with like her partner and whatnot, because she has like her own like own other partner and whatnot, because it isn't Hiro obviously. And like it's like she's like walking, she sees 02, the long-haired pink-haired girl, and she says like, hey, stay away from Ichigo. Not Ichigo, stay away from Hiro. I'm the leader of Squad 13. You don't belong here. And I'm like, what? And 02, I like the way 02 took it though. She was like, huh? And then she's like, who are you again? He's like, I'm the leader of Squad 13. What are you talking like? And then she like looks at her, like 02 looks at Ichigo, and she like looks at her, and then like licks her cheeks like, oh, you taste sweet. It's like, huh? And then like she's like, what? And then like she was like walks away, and then like Ichigo's like, huh? Get back here! Get back! I ain't done talking to you. I'm like, so, I like the way she like took that and whatnot. But so anyway, I'll skip here more. We also get a Hiro in this mech battle, because they're actually like, before this, I actually meant to bring this up. The whole council, like the main like council of the pilots and whatnot, like obviously like the adults basically, they're like trying to like come to a conclusion whether or not if Hiro deserves to basically like be the partner for 02 and whatnot. They're like kind of like coming up with this, like they're like debating it and whatnot, because like obviously he was still kind of like a troublemaker for like causing this accident we never get to see yet to his last partner. So it was like, is he right? But then they're like, but no, that mech was powerful though. We need that power. After we saw them together, like they matched so well. Like we never seen power like that before in a mech. We gotta have him inside. We gotta have him be her partner or whatnot. But then like it was kind of like a back and forth going over. Like some people said yeah, some people said no. So now they kind of came to the conclusion where now like Hiro has to be in this mock battle in order for him and if he wins his mock battle, he gets promoted basically. So what happens here is that Hiro like, she's like, oh, do I get 02 as my partner or whatnot? No. And then like this like, no, you can't have 02 as your partner. You have to have someone from Squad 13 and whatnot. And Ichigo's like, I'll do it. Fine. I'll do it. You troublemaker and whatnot. And then like Hiro's just like, can I get a different partner? But then like pretty much like Ichigo still has to be like his partner or whatnot. And then basically they're like in this mock battle. They basically have to basically like jump into like a mech together, and then they have to fight another person of Squad 13, like the other two characters, like the cocky guy cliche and the big boobs cliche. Basically, those two are in a mech together, and they basically have to fight Ichigo and like Hero, like the main characters and whatnot. And this is basically where we like end off it. We're like they're like fighting and whatnot, and like Hero's kind of like not getting the hang of it and whatnot. It's kind of like he's like, "What's wrong? Is it like the chemistry's off?" And I'm like, when I saw this, I'm just like, because like literally it's just like, and then like the mech just falls down. Like, what happened? What happened? Because obviously, I was like, because the thing is, when you go into those mechs, where like you need to have a guy and a girl in each mech, but the thing is, they also had to like agree with each other. They had to have good chemistry with each other. And the moment I saw Ichigo talk to Hero, I'm just like, yeah, of course they got no good chemistry. This like horrible. Like Ichigo's like literally like the worst character in this show so far. It's literally just been like all she's been doing is like talking smack to Hero and 02 the entire time. So literally I'm just like, yeah, I'm not surprised they didn't really have that good chemistry. But then like Hero was like in the mech, he's like wondering like he's just like, wait a minute, when I jumped in 02's mech, she like kissed me. She like gave me this like kiss or what? This thing called a kiss, like because like for some reason they don't know what a kiss is in like in this world, but I guess so. He's just like, oh, maybe if you kiss me, maybe I can get something. Then like, okay, I'll try, but close your eyes. And that's what Ichigo said. And then like she kisses him, and then next thing you know, it's just like, oh, I feel nothing, huh? And then like boom, and then they just lose. That's how it ends. It was like, I was dying when that happened. She was so mad. She's like, huh? I feel nothing. And that was where it ended. So far I say I am intrigued. I still am intrigued in this anime. I feel like the same way I felt about the anime in episode 1, I still feel about it now, where I'm like intrigued about where this goes and whatnot. I am like intrigued about like 02 as a character, and like hoping Ichigo like Hero actually wasn't like as bad as he was in episode 1 as well. He actually felt like a really good character and whatnot. I actually did like where he was going there. And I did laugh. He's like, I felt nothing. There was nothing there. So I definitely say I'm still like intrigued where this goes right now. But any questions?
Actually, yeah. For that fan service.
That fan service? I mean,
oh
first,
my god, my panties are stuck.
Like there was like, I mean, the thing is like, I feel like there was already slight fan service here and there already. But when I saw that giant butt shot, it was almost too over the top when I saw it. I'm just like, huh, what is this? I like came out of nowhere. Like I just felt like it almost felt distracting when I saw it. I'm just like, what? What the hell is it? Like it literally was almost like to Liza borderline.
You're blocking my view of the TV. Get out!
I'm trying to look at the story. Get out of my screen. But yeah, that's kind of like, I hope they don't go too overboard with the fan service. It was just like that just caught me off guard though. But nah. That's hopefully it just didn't go that bad. But like it's alright for now. But right now I'd probably give the show maybe like I'd say 7.5. Yeah, around there. It's like a middle, like a 7 or 8, like a 7.5. I'm like really intrigued by it right now. So yeah. All right. So that was your last anime, right? Persona 5.
Hold on, I think I got the 6th anime on my list.
6? Huh?
Cinema.
Oh, cinema. Nah. But was that the last one?
Yeah.
I think we said 4, right? Yeah. We said, oh yeah, because you were first, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, then I guess we can go to categories. All right. Favorite main character? No, just favorite character. Favorite character in general out of the anime you've seen so far.
The guy Devilman. He's so cool. Nah.
He's so cool. Yeah, watching that poor man, that ball. Nah.
The guy Megalo Box.
Oh, a guy in Megalo Box. Oh, okay. For me, see, beforehand it was Ash, but then it changed after what happened in the show. So now I'm like, shoot, what did I say? It was like, I guess I'll probably give it to 02. Yeah, I'll probably give it to 02 from Dolly and the Franxx. Yeah, I guess I'll give it to her now. All right. Worst character out of the 4 anime you've seen. Ichigo from Dolly and the Franxx. That was not 100%. Stay away from me. I'm the leader. Like, nah.
I guess Conceptions. I mean, I hate them all.
You hated them, but which one specifically?
I guess that childhood friend, because the whole childhood friend cliche, like, do you remember this from our past? That's played out to me now.
Ah, okay. All right. Best animation out of the 4 anime you've seen? Probably
Persona.
Persona.
I mean, I would say Megalo Box, but that's mostly good fighting wise, but not overall.
But you want to put overall? You probably put Persona 5 over it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I still give it to Banana Fish. I mean, the animation's still the best thing that was going for it. So yeah, I probably still give it to that. All right. Best
What about the name?
Oh, so
Banana Fish.
Banana Fish. See. I already told you where it came from. It came from like brainwashing, basically. Like Banana Fish, Banana Fish. I'll say what?
2K.
Oh, I didn't think about that. See, I didn't think about it. See, my head wasn't there, so I wasn't thinking about it like that. I just remembered it from the brainwashing thing because like he like said it, but now shoot. Okay. Anyway, let's skip that. All right. Best atmosphere out of the 4 anime you see.
I said Megalo Box episode 1 anyway.
Episode? You want to give to the other episode?
I just won't fill those kids at all.
What would you say altogether though? Would you still give the Megalo Box, or would you say any other anime had better atmosphere?
I'll actually give it a Devilman.
Oh, you actually give the Devilman. Oh, okay. I guess actually I probably I'll give it to. No wait, actually never mind. I give it to Kokkoku. Yeah, Kokkoku. Obviously, obviously that time sauce. Yeah, definitely Kokkoku. How did I forget that? Yeah, definitely Kokkoku. All right. Best soundtrack out of the 4 anime you've seen.
They all got terrible soundtracks.
I'm trying to think of which one stand. Yeah, I don't think it was any soundtrack I downloaded from any of my.
Megalo Box had a good ending, but I guess Persona 5.
Oh yeah, because it's just some tracks you've heard before. But for me, I'm trying to think of anything that stood out. I think Kokkoku has some pretty alright soundtracks. Yeah, I think I did like the soundtrack when she like murked those gang members. So,
Megalo Box had good episodes. Good soundtrack for episode 1. I was like, oh shoot, this is actually some good intense.
And then it just changed. You know, like what happened? What happened? All right, but for me, I'll probably get Kokkoku. And you said Megalo Box for you, or you said Persona?
I was at Persona.
Oh, okay, all right.
See, I was thinking about that. You remember Sikashima's theme?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about that thing when I told you in Megalo Box, like I was like, guys like me and you, we don't get to think about tomorrow. Because if you think about that stuff, you end up a dead man.
Oh, that's perfect. All right.
Worst.
Okay, next one. All right. Worst soundtrack out of the 4 anime you've seen.
I'll just give it the Conceptions by default.
I'd probably give it to Banana Fish. I really can't think. It was pretty Plus there were certain hip hop. He's like, yeah, man, we about to get it. Huh? What? It was like, I don't know what happened there, but yeah. All right. And for right here, which anime out of your 4 is your favorite so far? For me, still Kokkoku, yeah, definitely, because the mixture of action.
Give it to Megalo Box now.
You're like kind of like hesitant. You're like, I mean, you're probably like the best out of the 4, but like, yeah, I give it to you. Like, yeah. But yeah, for me, I give Kokkoku. I am like really entertained with this anime. But you said Megalo Box without official, you pinning it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why didn't you pick the other one? My paintings got stuck.
My paint, nah. I mean, to be up there, but I mean, Kokkoku is just a lot more fun watching. That's not like for that one. I'm still intrigued by because the thing is like bloom into you and shoot, Dolly in the front. Yeah. Those like I'm still intrigued by them, but Kokkoku's the only one where I watch where I'm just like I'm really enjoying it. Where I'm having fun watching it and whatnot. And might as well get to the last one though. Speaking of which anime out of your 4 are you dropping?
That would be Conception.
Yeah, that's what I thought. After the way you talked about it in the beginning of the show, I knew he's gonna drop this 100%. This anime, I didn't even need to hear the synopsis of the other animes to know that was gonna be one you were gonna drop. All right. But for me, yeah, I thought. The funny thing enough is I thought it's funny because in the beginning I thought Banana Fish was going to be
It
one
might
of my
develop,
favorite.
man.
It was going
Give
to
it
be my
a
favorite
chance.
ones, but nah, I gotta drop it. I gotta drop, especially compared to the other three. Yeah, nah, I gotta drop Banana Fish. I
Just
don't
give
know
it
if
another chance. Think about going from here. Think about Doro Hetero.
See, I can say that, but thing is, there was at least some females in Doro Hetero. This one is more like, ooh, fresh booty, man. We got new booty. Yeah, I'm out. I gotta drop it. All right. Oh, excuse me. All right, so I guess we got three. Anime left now. Okay. So the last three anime I now have are Blooming to You, Darling in the Franxx, and Kokkoku. And what are the three anime you have left?
Persona 5, Megalo Box, and Devilman Crybaby.
Okay. So next podcast, we are going to be talking about the next 5 episodes for the next 3 anime on our list. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, click that like button. This is Michael.
This Tavon.
We will see you next time.